I've been taking my time, taking all your time, taking all your time.
Hey, my trendies, trendsetters, and my trendy tribe. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Let me know if you can hear me. Double checking just in case. I'm waiting to see confirmation. Okay, all right. Thank you, Elisa, Demi. Okay, let me get my greetings out real fast. So I'll stop at Pink Hearts Forever's confirmation that she can hear me. Okay, I'm gonna get my greetings out. If you're new to me, just go with the flow. If you feel like I'm taking too long, come back later when it's on replay and not live. Okay, I'm gonna do my greetings and I gotta make sure I state something real. I gotta make myself a note real fast so I don't forget. Okay. All right. Good morning, Kat. First in the building. How are you doing? Hey, Veronica Monroe, Ms. Lady One. My legal eagle Shan is in the building. Hey, Shan, and part of the Mod Squad. Let me see. Hey, Elisa Triplet. Drea XO said, yay, because she made it. She's not replay gang this morning and this afternoon for her, I'm sure. Hey, Angie. Hey, IPV. Hey, Demi. Let me see. I'm going down. Hey, Pamela Johnson. April with the 2 L's. Pink Hearts Forever. Janet J. Lady B. I see y'all. Thank you for letting me know what light count you were. I appreciate it. Hey, Agnes Key. Kim Jones. I'm going down. Is that, hold on, because I know when I get to Red Ann. Hey, Red Ann. Okay, so I said I would stop there because I do have some announcements. So I will, come on, Mellow Nation. I will get some announcements out and then we will get into the topics on the title or in the title. Okay, so the first thing is I am covering something that is obviously by proxy is Love and Marriage Huntsville related because it's Scholt and Builders Mutual Insurance, which is there's a civil lawsuit against Scholt opened up by Builders Mutual Insurance. And yes, it's a Love and Marriage Huntsville topic. No, please do not try to find a way. And I'm saying this, I'll say this in love. Please do not find a way to bring Kiki into this. It's just about the case. For me, we're just talking about the case. Yeah, YouTube do be messing up the like count. So please do not do that. This is about the company. And of course, the company is ran by Marceau, Scott, and on paper, Letitia. But there's no reason to mix those things. We're talking about the case when it comes up. The next thing is, if you did not get a chance to check out Saturday Night Giggles last night, It was a key, and it was some. Woo! It was bold in the beginning for sure, because Jay brought on his friend, who is an apostle at a church that has a church open to everyone, and Jay wanted to bring light to how the town is treating that church, and because of how, first of all, this is Jay's childhood friend too, so if you don't know the tone, let me tell you, they already be going like like with humor at each other. So if you see then me and Don laughing, it's not at the serious topic that was coming up. It's because that is the dynamic that Jay and his friend already brought, and it seems like he just brings humor even when it's something serious, which I can understand, because people all communicate differently and everything. So if you go over there and watch it and didn't know what was going to happen, just understand it's still a Giggles night with some serious questions and topics in there as well. It was on fire, Pamela. Right. Good Lord, it's a fire. Yes, it was on fire, but I loved it. People from his church were in there. Jay's family was in the chat, so, and I think some more friends, because they was like, y'all better not be going too hard on Jay. So it was nice, and of course, once the apostle left, the the shenanigans continued. So it was a great time. That's on Chef Don Don's channel, Saturday Night Giggles. So please check it out. Definitely appreciate y'all. The next thing is Trendies. Please come watch 41 Fit and I tonight to review House of the Dragons episode 3. Okay, season 2 episode 3. Come watch us. Surprises are coming. There's something being worked on that she kind of knows about, but she doesn't. She being 41 Fit, she kind of knows, but she doesn't know. And then also 41 Fit and I have surprises coming for y'all that we both agreed on. It's a fun time. So come join us, because YouTube will most likely not notify you. And we'll be streaming it from my channel and her channel. Hey, Kat. Okay. So then the next thing, oh my gosh. If you did not catch, Here for Hot Tea posted the video where Stormi did her TikTok live at about 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm going to go back and watch the TikTokers video. And I didn't go check to see if Here for Hot Tea linked the original TikTokers video in her description box. But Stormi was on there apologizing for her life because a TikToker reached out to her about a product. They were an actual customer, and she blocked them. And so her whole live was spent trying to apologize and keep on this. Y'all know the persona that Stormi has adopted lately. Business-wise, yep, I get it. Personally, I don't buy it though, if that makes sense. And a lot of the live chat, now there were some like, stop picking on Stormi, but a lot of her live chat, which Here for Hot Tea also has up on the screen, was not buying it. They were like, no, because why did you do this with a customer? She tried to conflate some facts. She was like, so now if there's a troll, and they're talking about my features, I just won't block them. No, because that person did not talk about Stormi's features. That person was definitely talking about shipping or something else. And that's why I want to go watch the TikTokers video too, because and the TikTokers mama apparently was in the chat. I don't know if that was her mom for sure, but she was like, I'll tell her I'm her mother and all this other stuff. Very interesting. My comment was that Stormi is trying to keep her representative up because TikTok has not learned about her as other platforms kind of already know her. Also, I'm not saying that I'm put it like this. If you ever succeed outside of how I feel about you, that's still great for you if you ever do. But I am always going to be critical of Stormi, because when Stormi doesn't like things and she's not called out, because had that TikToker not went public, and I think from what I saw that the TikToker got like a lot of views from that video. So it had to be public and it had to be loud. It had to be popular for her to come on and be like, well, I'm going to keep DMing her until she answers me. I'm going to keep reaching out. I'm sending her extra stuff. No, what about your everyday customer that makes up those 800,000 orders that you got? What about them that don't do a TikTok, or the TikTok doesn't catch on that they did? Why? That's the problem. That's the core of why she, to me, does not consistently succeed. Because if you look at just numbers of being able to push out product, yes, that is on its own. People wish they could do that. but the consistency and the sticking power doesn't last for Stormi. So anyway, if y'all please go watch Here for Hot Tea, because she just uploaded the video, and you can just see Stormi is trying to keep that tone that she's trying to adopt, and it's very interesting to watch. Also, again, what about the customers that make you so mad that allegedly you're sending out their information to people that are known to cross very dangerous boundaries with people? What about that? So that's why for me, if anyone ever hears me about Stormi, I will not ever probably find a place where I don't criticize her, because at the end of the day, even if you put one person's safety in danger, that was one too many. So yeah, I'll most likely always be a critic, just coming from a business standpoint, from all those things. So I know it's always gonna be somebody like, why you come down on the Black woman business? The Black woman has put allegedly at least one Black woman in danger, number one. Number two, that TikToker would not have gotten that response had many people not seen it. And then she even tried to throw in a little Hail Mary of, well, I understand if she doesn't take it down even after this. It's one of those like, girl, no. So anyway, that's my own opinion. That's why I stick to where I'm at. And yeah, I can't do it with Stormi. And most of y'all know that's over here. This is more for people that catch me because of the algorithm and they don't know where I stand, why I stand. So, okay. That was pretty much it. Let's get into, I'm going to just do highlights on this one, because I already fully read the counterclaim that Deborah tried to do against Keiarna in a separate video. So I'm going to try to go over the highlights more than the whole thing, because I did do a full read, but I have also learned I can't assume that we're all on the same page with information. So just to catch everybody up really fast, Deborah is Ashley Darby's friend. She's the one that said Chris was hitting on her, but then they rolled that beautiful bean footage and Chris was not really stating her period. And on top of that, even before Candace saw any of the footage, she was like, girl, get out my face. And she, of course, she was like, if she don't get her Sesame Street looking, blah, 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 all that stuff. And Deborah expected, I think, the internet to at least be on her side if Candace didn't actually take it seriously and get all bent out of shape over it. And so now she is referencing the name calling and things in her lawsuit, but it's like, you really tried to accuse someone of something that didn't happen. She also says that Bravo basically doctored the footage or edited out what would have helped her, I guess, or whatever. I do think that Deborah suffers from, I was supposed to be the preference syndrome. That's how I see her. That's how I see a lot of mean girls when, if they happen, not every light-skinned person is a mean girl, in my opinion, obviously, because I hope I am not a mean girl, as well. But there are some that you just can, to me, you can tell that they feel like they should always have the upper hand over someone that is darker skinned than them or doesn't have the features they have and all this other stuff. And Deborah is one of those. So it's like, how dare you not believe me? Because obviously it would be me. I'm the preference type energy. That's what I attribute to Deborah. That's my opinion. So anyway, Keiarna, because she was injured from what she says was the object that was thrown. I think it was supposed to be thrown at Candace, but it hit Keiarna, which is Candace's friend, in the forehead, got her a laceration, or the laceration came from when she got pulled down on the ground. It could have been either one, because I actually don't remember. And there's a TMZ video out there for people to replay over and over and over. Yeah, she went after Eddie, Drea. She went after Eddie too. It's too much. And so you're gonna see in this lawsuit how Deborah tries to spin it, but Keiarna opened the initial lawsuit. Then Deborah answered the lawsuit. Now she's also opened her own counter lawsuit against Keiarna, and that's what we're about to read. And I'll try to just do more highlights than read everything word for word. But some of the things in there it's outrageous to me. It's so outrageous. Thank you, Divine Virtuous Woman. Okay, so that's where we're going to start. And then we will get into Builders Mutual versus Scholt and where we're at as of the beginning of July. Okay. So let's see. And hopefully that provides enough context for y'all with the Deborah Keiarna part of it. Okay. So, as you can see, Keiarna Stewart, plaintiff, Deborah Williams, defendant, the original plaintiff and defendant, and this is a countersuit. And it says, defendant Deborah H. Williams files her countersuit, which is governed by Rule 13A, not because she wants to, but because Miss Keiarna Stewart's filing puts Miss Williams in the position of counterfiling out of necessity. Here is why. Okay. So, her introduction is... It says, it is obvious that counter-defendant Miss Keiarna Stewart craves fame. So that's why she is saying Keiarna is filing the lawsuit against her, because Keiarna wants fame. They both were already on the show. So to me, equally, you would want fame if you're on that show. Drea, yes, the way she talks about her hair, the amount of times she fluffed that hair on camera was hilarious. Right. If that was a drinking game, people would be under the table every time she fluffed her hair out. Speaking of Deborah. Okay. So then it says, so this is from Deborah's point of view, along, with her attorney writing this. So much so that she, Keiarna, is willing to do just about anything to have her name broadcast on television and across social media. This includes instigating the fight. So Deborah is saying Keiarna instigated this fight, having the fight recorded. So she's saying not only instigated, but pre-planned the fight so it could be recorded, and then accusing Keiarna of being the one that sent the fight to TMZ for it to be viewed on TV all over the world. In the reality drama she has brought before the court, Miss Stewart is not the victim. In fact, she's the villain. So Deborah is calling Keiarna the villain of this whole thing. In the true story, Keiarna is not the protagonist, she's the antagonist. The facts will show that Keiarna, with her insatiable desire to be known, orchestrated all the events outlined in her own complaint and in this counter complaint. And in the end, the court will see, indeed the country will see, that Deborah is the innocent party who has been severely damaged by Keiarna. Hey, Miami J. Okay. So then I'm going to skip down. Here's the facts as Deborah and her attorney alleged them. So it says facts. I'm going to say take it lightly. Okay, y'all. Now, most of y'all know about this at this time. So, oh my gosh. I know I'm reading it a second time, but I still couldn't believe some of the stuff that Deborah and her attorney put in here. But it says, oh wait, we're not going to go back over the history. So she lists Candace's history and Ashley Darby's history. Calling Ashley Darby a singer is wild to me. Yes, I know she has songs out. Then Deborah says Miss Williams, which would be Deborah, and Miss Darby are personal acquaintances. Okay, so now they're acquaintances and not friends. In April 2022, Miss Darby approached Miss Williams and asked her to be a guest on RHOP. Miss Williams agreed to make a handful of guest appearances on season 8 of RHOP. Miss Williams agreed to appear on the show for one reason only, to support her friend, Ashley Darby. Okay, now it's friend again. Miss Williams appeared in just 6 of the 21 aired episodes. Turmoil at the onset. Filming for season 8 began in April 2023. On the first day, Miss Williams appeared on the show as a guest. One of the regular cast members, Candace Dillard Bassett, began to, here we go, aggressively pick on her. Okay. Here we go. Candace uses her words. I'm sorry people can't usually take that, but Candace does just use her words. Miss Bassett called her names, insulted her on air, and began accusing her of trying to flirt with her husband, Christopher Bassett. As if we all didn't see the episode where she was like, Candace. She was trying to get that girl's attention to fight for her life, to let her know what her version of what happened when she approached Chris. Candace did not initially approach Deborah. Deborah was always a non-factor for Candace. Paying dust. Okay. It would be an unlimited funds of dust in Deborah's bank account because Candace paid her dust that many times. So Candace did not just out of nowhere start like coming at this woman. She did not approach her to accuse her of approaching Chris or flirting with Chris. That is not what happened. If you've seen the season, y'all know that's not what happened. She was fighting for that camera time. Right. It says the editing of the footage actually broadcast on Bravo played up that concocted storyline by making it appear to viewers that Miss Williams was in fact flirting with Miss Bassett's husband, when in fact she was not. The editing exacerbated the situation and viewers began to believe it. Do y'all also remember, well, after that, there was another time they were in the same space? I don't know if that was the time that Candace was going to go perform on stage. There was a time that she was really trying to get Candace's attention again, like weeks or months after she tried to tell Candace that Chris was hitting on her. She was doing her best to be in frame with Candace. And then this is Deborah saying this, whether it was intentional or unintentional, by the end of the season 8 filming, Miss Williams was painted as the villain. Honestly, for me, and I still have the thumbnail somewhere in one of my videos, she was not painted as a villain. I mean, she was, but she was painted as Oscar the Grouch for me. That's who she was to me. Oscar the Grouch. Shout out to Candace for saying Sesame Street, because I would have been trying to place Deborah's face forever if someone hadn't given that reference. Please hit the like button. Candace didn't want anything to do with her. Exactly. She paid her dust again at the club. Yes, D, how no one holds Ashley accountable for her ish. For 2 seasons straight, she caused some real nasty damage. I feel like, honestly, Ashley she's been there since the inception, I think, is what at least this lawsuit says. I feel like Ashley always is in the middle of the mess. Always. She even was the one, and I know that's probably what you're also talking about with the NECA and Wendy thing. The way she phrased it was unnecessary. NECA did the rest herself, but Ashley definitely does too much. I'm sorry, Drea. She did look like Oscar the Grouch. It is the eyebrows. Okay, so then it says to redeem her image. So she goes back again to go film again to redeem her image. Deborah agreed to be a guest during the following season. So in March or April of 2023, Deborah signed another contract to make guest appearances on RHOP. The first episode of Miss Williams is Deborah's second season on the show began where the prior season left off, with attacks on Miss Williams. Miss Williams appeared in only a handful of episodes, but one of the episodes was the second to last episode of the season. That episode, airing in July 2023, centered on cast members Ashley Darby and Giselle Bryant, who were celebrating the launch of their clothing line. The event was held at the Mayflower, DC, a bar/club. All of the cast members were present at this event hosted by Miss Darby and Miss Bryant. Each member was allowed to bring friends as their guests. Throughout this event, Miss Bassett's verbal attacks were exceptionally vicious towards Miss Williams. The name-calling and instigation was abnormally excessive, seemingly intentionally provocative. I'm going to tell you what. If someone tried to tell me that Mr. Trending was over there flirting with them, let me tell you what, for those of y'all that don't think I curse, you will find out that day. I will most likely find out that day if I'm not just paying you dust. So I don't care what names you were called. I don't, because what you're doing is putting someone in a very dangerous situation. Because also the flirting is the light word to put it. What Giselle had did, and then to pile it on with Deborah and Ashley even tried to insinuate. Let me tell you what. You're gonna hear some words. You're gonna hear some names. Okay. So having gotten no rise out of Miss Williams, so now she's unbothered, she's unfazed. Miss Bassett, towards the end of the night, approached Miss Williams, who was sitting with her friend Miss Darby, one last time. It was here when Miss Bassett's slurs became too much, so Miss Williams retaliated with a few choice words from Miss Bassett. Upon hearing the words, Miss Bassett picked up a bottle of champagne as if to throw it at Miss Williams. Now, that was caught in the footage. I saw Candace pick up the bottle. I don't remember if Deborah had already thrown something at that time. I don't know when the video picked up, but yes, I will acknowledge I saw Candace pick up the bottle. Now, they took it right out her hand. Candace, I feel like she'd be picking up props, but either way, it didn't get thrown. It was taken out of her hand. No sooner had Miss Bassett thrown the bottle of champagne. And Miss Bassett, Candace, I don't think she threw the bottle. I'm pretty sure a friend took it out of her hand from the TMZ footage. Then Miss Stewart shouted out threats to Miss Williams. Miss Stewart would be Keiarna. So she's saying Keiarna shout out threats to Miss Williams. I feel like in the footage when Keiarna was shouting, shouting is shouting, but I know when Keiarna approached Deborah, something had already been thrown at Keiarna or Candace, but it hit Keiarna. And it says, shortly after verbally threatening Miss Williams, Miss Stewart jumped up to Miss Williams and punched her square in her face. So she's saying that Keiarna, after verbal threats, jumped up and just out of nowhere punched Deborah in her face. It is important to pause here and note several facts. First, Keiarna was not a regular cast member. I don't know how that matters. Second, Deborah had never met Keiarna before this night. And third, no words had been exchanged between Deborah and Keiarna before Keiarna attacked Miss Williams or Deborah. Upon investigation and belief, Keiarna was there for the sole purpose of fighting Miss Williams. That makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. Yes, Drea, I saw it as she was messing with them and coming up to them. Deborah was coming up to them. Yes, Deborah, but Deborah's not going to say that in her own countersuit, D. That's the thing. That's the thing. Deborah's not going to say, I threw something. Yep, someone took it out her hand. Yep. Okay, before the fight, the producers... Oh, she has the word staged in question mark. Before the fight, the producers of the show had stopped recording. This means this entire fight was not captured on camera by the Bravo TV crew. However, someone was recording the fight before the fight. If there was already yelling, people pull out their phones, okay? That is, someone knew that Miss Stewart was going to confront and or attack Miss Williams. We know this because although Bravo had ended filming, someone else recorded the scene on a phone. And knowing what was about to happen, this person caught the entire ordeal with a video phone. No sooner had the commotion died down and bodies were separated, the video was forwarded to celebrity news website TMZ, and the entire fight is made viral. That's usually what does happen. Okay. In her complaint, this is crazy. Y'all, please, if you weren't there for the first time, this is crazy on how Deborah is explaining how Keiarna got the laceration on her forehead. It says, in her complaint, Keiarna alleges that Deborah threw an empty, heavy glass cup at Keiarna, which ultimately struck Keiarna in the forehead, thereby causing a serious laceration on Keiarna's forehead. Upon investigation and belief, Keiarna's laceration to her forehead resulted from an unknown person pulling Keiarna's hair, which was a sewed-in wig. The pull ripped the wig from her scalp and caused the injury. She might have suffered that laceration from being pulled to the ground, because we did see that in the video. But Deborah is trying to say that a wig that was sewn on lacerated her forehead, where a wig is not even attached to. Y'all. Come on, man. Come on. And again, I think it is a point to be made of her even trying to point out that Keiarna had a wig on. That goes back to, I think, Drea and some others on how Deborah has to let people know, this is on my real hair. It's on my real hair. Miss Williams, on the other hand, has suffered immensely from Keiarna's actions directly. Deborah suffered physical injuries as well as emotional injuries. Deborah is currently in therapy as the fight has been aired all throughout the world, and Keiarna's defamatory remarks on social media have damaged Deborah. Now, mind you, if you were there for the initial melee, you also saw posted in our normal places we look, probably the Shade Room, Neighborhood Talk and everything, that Deborah was very much braggadocious about that she beat up Keiarna and all these other things. She was posted in her stories. She was doing the most. Maybe Keiarna was too, because I have to say that when you're angry, it's like I'm popping mine, you popping yours. So but Deborah definitely believes that, you know, she won the fight and blah blah blah. So now I'm not going to reread the causes of action. I'll just name the counts and not read the whole details because, again, I already read all of it. But causes of action: count 1, assault and battery. And she wants $3 million plus punitive damages plus interest and costs for the assault and battery on her caused by Keiarna. Count 2, intentional infliction of emotional distress. And she is claiming that because she is saying Keiarna knew there would be a fight because Keiarna was the one that was going to instigate the fight. And she was going to try to embarrass Deborah by giving it to TMZ. So that's where she's claiming, what does she call it? Intentional infliction of emotional distress. And she wants $3 million plus fees. Count 3, defamation. $1 million in costs, and this was submitted July 2nd, 2024. And Remus Law Group is the law firm, and it says Solon Phillips. So yeah, that is to make sure we're all caught up with Oscar the Grouch and Keiarna. So yeah, hopefully we're now caught up on that, and then we're gonna get into Builders Mutual Insurance versus Scholt. I also have to give context because I have to remember not to assume that we're all on the same page with all of the lawsuits. So I'm not going to read the whole complaint. I just have to get us kind of on the same page about what this one is about. Didn't Deborah brag about giving the girl a knot on her head? Yeah, Drea, that's what I read. Yes, that's what I read. Okay, so as you can see, this is Builders Mutual Insurance Company versus Scholt Industries. All right, so this is their original complaint that was filed August 2nd, 2023. And we're going to go all the way up until July of 2024. Okay, so this is the preliminary statement, which does sum up. So it sums up what it's about. So it says, this is a civil action brought against the defendant, Scholt Industries, Inc., to obtain full and complete relief to redress the breach of contract made by the defendant and to obtain damages for said breach, or alternatively, to collect a debt owed to plaintiff by the defendant pursuant to an open account or account stated arising out of a workers' compensation and employer's liability insurance policy and unpaid premium on that policy plaintiff alleges are owed by the defendant. Okay, I'm going to skip on down. Okay. So by law, Scholt is required to have the insurance. Scholt was placed into a pool because they could not qualify, I guess, for the standard insurance. And this is where I believe this insurance company came in. So it says March 1st, 2020, which is around the Zen Gardens time. But I can't say for sure it was for Zen Gardens, but this is just around the Zen Gardens time frame. The plaintiff issued a workers' compensation and employer's liability policy to the defendant. The term of the policy was from March 1st, 2020 to November 4th, 2020. Okay. 1 second. Okay, this is important. Paragraph 13 and 14. The proper rate and premium basis depended upon certain class codes and categories established by NCCI and rules for how payroll is assigned to certain class codes and categories of employees. Classifications were initially assigned based on an estimate of the exposure the defendant, which would be Scholt, would have during the term based on information provided by the defendant in filling out a workers' compensation application. So an estimate you're given is based on almost like good faith in the beginning that you are accurately describing what your coverage will need to be. Is this why the Scotts are advertising Scott Construction and not Scholt Construction? I don't honestly, and when I get to the end of where we're at, I don't necessarily think this lawsuit is why. Scott. Oh, why this? Yeah. Okay, yeah. I don't think this lawsuit is necessarily why, but that is interesting. I think overall they're probably trying to, just like Stormi is trying to get over there on TikTok and rebrand. I think the Scotts are trying to rebrand and get away from Scholt because it's dirt to me, in my opinion. It is absolutely dirt at this point, that name, because they've ran it into the ground with all the multiple lawsuits and everything. So that's my opinion overall, that it's like a lot of pieces coming together on why they're going from Scholt to Scott. Because I think if it had to remain successful, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type thing. But I definitely think they're like, but it ain't gonna hurt now to change it to our last name. Now the thing is, it's just gonna go down the same route, but it takes years sometimes for someone to catch on to the pattern of how a business operates. Okay, so then we're gonna skip down because they're explaining how they calculate it. Here it goes. The defendant's initial estimated premium calculated prior to builders being assigned coverage was $979. I need y'all to understand that is 979.00 for all the coverage of workman's comp and everything they needed. The way that the defendant Scholt Industries filled out the application made their premium add up to $979. $979. Okay, that was the initial. Now they tell them, and I don't know if I'm gonna read the sentence, so I'm gonna say it just in case I miss it. They tell the person or the company, hey, we're still gonna do an end of year audit to check on your coverage to make sure it's right, because we have to stay within the law as well, you know. So they tell you, hey, we're gonna do an audit. Just because you say is this, we're gonna, you know, we always do end of year audits, is basically kind of what they say. That's standard. You know, it wasn't personal to Scholt, it's just what they do. Okay. So then it says, in accordance with the policy, builders determine the final and actual premium owing for builders policy based upon actual exposure for the audit period of the term and placing the payroll in the correct rating classification. In accordance with the policy and upon close of the audit period, builders determine the final and actual premium owing for builders policy based upon actual exposure was $19,460. From $979 for the full term to $19,460. Okay. So since they paid, I guess, the $979, this suit was for $18,481. And it says a true and accurate copy of the statement of account or invoice dated January 5th, 2021 is attached here to as Exhibit 4. Okay, obviously the defendant failed to pay the additional $18,000. All right. So based on the foregoing, the defendant owes builders $18,481 plus interest at the rate of 10% per annum from January 5th, 2021. All right. So we're going down. I'm trying to go to the exhibit. So they gave them a notice like, hey, we found $18,481 y'all still owe. And unless you, within 30 days after receiving this notice, dispute the validity of the debt or any portion thereof, the debt will be assumed to be valid by our office. Going down, here's the, which one is this? Oh, they were just checking on, they were verifying that they got the right corporation, the right Scholt. That was what that was. So that was the Secretary of State filing. So they verified they had the right company. Then they showed the policy period was from March 1st, 2020 to November 4th, 2020. And I'm going down. Here's the adjustment that it was actually valued at $19,000, not $979. And then January 5th, 2021, they sent them a bill for the remaining amount. Right. Any experienced contractors should have known that was a way too low estimate. But he did lie about his experience, Mr. I do not recall. He sure did. I agree, Red Ann. I think, in my opinion, he knew full well that he underestimated the policy. And here's the thing. But it all leads back to a bad foundation, because let's say he underestimated, which was really bad to do, on purpose, thinking that once they got paid from Zen Garden, when the real premium was charged, they would pay it. But that means you have to do good work to get paid for that huge job that you were awarded. So it still is like, you're not gonna, it's never gonna be right, because none of it started out right. None of it started out right. Let's see here. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. And yes, please, for these type of documents, I definitely do have to pay my own money. So, well, at this point, most documents are sponsored by the Trendy. So if you would like to donate for the court document fund, I definitely appreciate it. I'm trending at some point on Venmo and Cash App. But so these are older. So these were already purchased, but the newer ones were definitely sponsored by the Trendies as of 2024 for sure. Okay. So now we're getting on to, y'all saw the complaint, so you understand the foundation. Then March 25th, 2024, I did go over this, but I got to get y'all caught up on the timeline. There was a joint motion to continue. Or was this a joint? Hold on, make sure. Is this a joint or a singular? Okay, no, just the plaintiff did this one. So the plaintiff, Builders Mutual Insurance Company, on March 25th, 2024, filed a motion to continue, which means like, we need just a little bit of a later date because for them, they're saying they're in negotiations to settle, right? And I even said then, I don't know if I said it in the video, but I feel like I probably did, like, hey, be careful with that. Make sure y'all actually get what you're getting, because they do, to me, Scholt does this tactic of delaying and doing these, we're going to negotiate, but then negotiations fall through and it just gives them more time. Also, by this point, I believe Maurice has started representing Marceau for this case. You'll see it once we get onto the documents that it'll say Maurice in there. So now we're at where Maurice represented them. Oh, and the reason at first, Builders almost got a default judgment in their favor because Marceau didn't answer, saying that he never received the service. But I think this is the one where he did receive the service, and it was a signature, like you could claim it wasn't your signature, and that now that he knows, he would do what he had to do to defend himself and everything. I'm going to see if I can find that real fast, because it's just the MO of it all. Like, it's always like this. It's always like this. So let me see if this is it. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, see, y'all see Maurice's name down here. So he did file for, he filed on behalf of Marceau. He was representing Marceau. What am I looking for? I don't see. Okay, it wasn't here. Maybe it was right before Maurice represented him. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. Sorry. If this isn't it, I'll just continue. If this isn't the one. No, that's not it either. Okay. Well, that might not, and it also might not be the one. He said that every time that he never got served. So he said that with the blasting company. So I could be getting my cases mixed up. I apologize. Right. Why not pay it now? The borrowed $1.5 million. They should have the money, clean it up, clear your name. That's what I would think too, right? But they're a waited out type of company, it seems, D. So, okay, so I'll get back on track. So they had a motion to continue initiated by the plaintiff, Builders Mutual. So now it says this matter is currently set for April 1st. And that's when I had made my video saying that they had to be in court for April Fool's Day. So that it was set for April 1st. The parties are in settlement negotiations and are working together to see if the matter can be resolved. The parties need additional time to discuss resolution. Neither party will be prejudiced as the parties are working together to see if the matter can be resolved. Okay, and that was March 25th, 2024. Then they filed, it says, this is the court saying order granting one-time joint continuance. So for the purpose of the defendant and the plaintiff, the court said, okay, you get one time to delay the court date, basically. Too many to keep track of. Right. Joint motion to continue filed by Builders Mutual Insurance Company and Scholt Industries is hereby granted one time only. Trial of this matter is reset on Monday, June 24th, 2024 at 1:30 p.m. Done the second day of May 2024. Okay. So then, bring this one over here, June 25th, 2024. This is where Builders Mutual, I don't know what they were doing, but I'm going to have to say that they messed up, or they were lulled into negotiations really actually happening. Because remember, they thought they were in negotiations enough to actually reach a settlement. So now they have busted the deadline, probably on some phone call type delays, maybe some email type delays, like, hey, we're getting a figure back to you. We're working with our people, all this other stuff to delay the settlement, right? To now, since they only had that one time to get it by June 24th, June 25th, the court said final order. This cause came before the court on Monday, June 24th, 2024 at 1:30 p.m. for trial, but both parties were present with legal representation. Upon call of the case for trial, the plaintiff informed the court that no witnesses were available. Therefore, it is ordered by the court as follows. Judgment is hereby rendered in favor of the defendant, Scholt Industries, Inc., and against the plaintiff, Builders Mutual Insurance Company, Inc. This is a final judgment as there is no just reason for delay. The plaintiff shall have 14 days to appeal this judgment. So the court's like, I told y'all one time and one time only. I was serious. Builders Mutual, what day was this? I'll get the day. Okay, but it says in the District Court of Madison County, Plaintiff Builders Mutual Insurance Company versus Defendant Scholt Industries, Inc. Date of judgment or order was June 25th, 2024. Notice is hereby given that Builders Mutual Insurance Company appeals to the Court of Madison County, Alabama, from the judgment/order of Honorable Ronald W. Smith, dated June 25th, 2024. And they're asking for a trial without a jury for this one. And they filed this July 2nd, 2024. So they're asking for an appeal. And again, if they get this appeal approved to just try to go forward and show what they have, I feel like they're probably going to show a lot of, we thought we were closed, but then Scholt had a delay, or they had this reason, they had that reason. And then all of a sudden the date was upon us because we were trying to give grace. And we did not, thinking that we were actually about to resolve this and just settle, we did not have witnesses because we were just coming to inform the court, hey, we have a settlement agreement. And so that's what I think Builders Mutual's appeal is probably going to lean heavily on. And I'm just wondering if they have text messages and emails to support this, if that will be the reason that they say they want an appeal. Because yeah, for me, I mean, they did the same with Zen Gardens. Zen Gardens actually had filed, and no, Zen Gardens has not filed anything new from my knowledge since February of this year, in case y'all are wondering. I do still check. But with Zen Gardens, it was back in, I think, October 2023 or so. And Zen Gardens had actually asked the court, they filed a stay to hold any other court dates because they were in negotiation settlement agreements with Scholt, or so they thought. But I don't know I think it was the same day Zen Gardens came back and filed like, please continue, because we thought we were under some agreement, but it seems there's a misunderstanding and we want to continue. So either they caught on to the delay tactics quicker, or something went so egregiously wrong that they were like, oh, hell no. Mr. Rogers, shout out to Mr. Rogers, the attorney for Zen Gardens, was like, we're back in. There's no negotiations. But I don't know what's going on right now. Just so y'all know, Zen Gardens was the last one to file, I believe, as far as amending what they wanted in their defense against the countersuit. Defense against the initial lawsuit, and evidence for their countersuit. And that's the last so far that I've seen. That's why I was like, by the time it got to this, I was like, oh, Builders Mutual, just get all your money, or, at least file for all your money. Cause I just don't think this settlement negotiation thing is going to go anywhere. And sure enough, now there's a judgment in favor of the defendant. So two things, did they do it with prejudice or without prejudice? Let me look at this order one more time. Okay, it doesn't say with prejudice, so they probably would have to just start the process over if their appeal is not approved. But that's crazy, and that's the update for Builders Mutual Insurance versus Scholt. I think that this insurance company, I don't know. They won't be fooled twice if they get another chance. I'll put it that way. Yes, Red and everybody's saying Marceau doesn't complete anything. Right. Okay, so please join me and 41 Fit for House of the Dragon review tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can go on her channel or my channel, and we will have a great time. Episode 3 review. Well, Lies More Lies, I think it would be filed in the court by now. If they did settle officially, there would still be something. You have to update the court. So I'm not saying that they didn't settle, but I'm just saying there's no updates officially in the court records. That's where I'm gonna put it, because I don't want to go too strong on just my assumptions, because I don't believe in anything that Scholt does. So I'm trying to be very careful of just being like, nope, because it could be, but I don't think it's likely right now. The court still has to have something filed. When Stormi settled with American Express, it still had to be followed up in the court that it actually was settled. Then I think it had to be verified that the settlement actually happened. So I'm not used to it just dropping off. I think it has to actually be closed out in some sort of way. You're very welcome, Bonnie. You're welcome. All right, y'all. Well, I will see y'all out in these YouTube streets. Check out Here for Hot Tea's video if you didn't watch it, with Stormi blocking that customer. Then that customer came on TikTok, put her on blast, and now Stormi is definitely trying to apologize. All right, y'all. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
I've been taking my time, I've been taking my time. Taking all of your time, taking all of your time.